Hey, friends all over the world. I wanna tell you a key that I learned. And this key is the key to unleashing miracles in your life. See, everybody wants miracles. Everybody wants a miracle. Everybody wants God to do something supernatural in their lives. Everybody wants to see something just amazing, God to come through, God to make a way, God to heal, God to deliver, God to do these just amazing things, these awesome things. And we know that God is a miracle worker. But I want to tell you something that a lot of folks don't realize. There are things that we can do, not just things that God has done, but things that we can do to position ourselves to experience, or I like to use the word, unleash miracles in our lives. Especially this time of year, because many of you are believing God for some amazing things to happen for you and for your family. And those things aren't far-fetched, but you have to be willing. You know, Isaiah chapter 1 says, if you be willing and obedient, you will eat the good of the land. If you be willing and obedient. Now, let me tell you a quick story. Tell you two quick stories. Years ago, before I was married, I just moved down to Tampa. And I had this bill that I wasn't working at the time. I didn't have a traditional job, but I was running a contract style business where I would get a client and that client, I would do some work for them, and then they would pay me after I did all the work and all this stuff. Sometimes take me a while to get paid because it was based upon how soon I finished the job. So anyhow, long story short, this particular time, I had a bill I couldn't pay it. I didn't have any money. And I had this bill and it was mounting, and I'm like, Lord, I don't know what I'm going to do. So I'm praying about it. I'm saying, God, I don't know what to do. Now, oftentimes we think of a miracle as coming down. That's kind of our mentality. We think, okay, God's going to make something come down from the ceiling, from the sky. And as I began to pray, I began to be sensitive to what God was asking me to do. And so I heard the Lord say to me in prayer, I'm praying, and I hear the Lord say, he said to me, this is very simple, look on your dashboard. I said, what you mean look on the dashboard? The Lord said, look on your dashboard. So I did it. I went and I looked on my dashboard. So I looked on my dashboard, and when I looked on my dashboard, I saw an old envelope. I don't know where it came from. It was old. Well, anyway, I opened the envelope. It was an unfiled tax return. The Lord said, take this to the tax office, and I want you to file it. And I did just that. The money I got back was more than enough to take care of my bill. Let me tell you another quick story. Some years ago, in my ministry, we had gotten to this slump where it just like, I said, well, this doesn't make any sense. Usually around this time, this is what comes in, and this was so far off, and we were not able to meet our budget. We weren't able to meet the things that we needed to do, and I couldn't figure out why. So we were praying. We began to pray. So as we're praying, the Lord had led us to go to this conference. So we're in the conference, and I begin to hear what the Lord is saying to me. And in light of this, and I'm not even really thinking about this thing that we were dealing with the finances being tangled up. But I'm just, so what happens is this. As I'm in the service, the Lord tells me to give a specific amount. It was very specific. It wasn't like, oh, I feel like the Lord's leading me to do. No, it was a very specific amount. And we gave, and this is the irony of it, my wife heard the exact same amount. And I said, what did the Lord tell you? She said, this is the amount he told me. I said, that's what he told me. We were on one accord. Listen to this. We sowed the seed. The next day, the merchant told us, well, we realized that there was a problem on your website, and this problem didn't allow us to finish processing the funds. And they released thousands upon thousands of dollars in back transactions that have been, these things have been transacted, but they didn't release them to us. And we were saying, God, where is it? And it was a supernatural miracle. What am I saying? The miracle was precipitated by obedience. And one of the keys to unleashing God's miracle power is doing exactly what he tells you to do. I preached this on Sunday. I talked about understanding your assignment. When God gives you an assignment, you have to execute your assignment and do it with faith and diligence and obedience. I've been telling you this for the last several months. Radical obedience. No, I'm sorry, let me start. Right. Radical faith, radical obedience, and radical giving. The Lord said that this would be the key to unleashing his ridiculous favor in our lives. If you look anywhere in the scriptures, when God did something ridiculous, it required obedience to a divine instruction. You will not find anywhere in the Bible where somebody got something from God that did not require them to obey an instruction or to do something that was unusual. Look at the widow that only had one cruse of oil. Look at the other widow that says, listen, I'm going to just make a cake for me and my son and my sons, and we're going to die. And the man of God said, feed me first. When the children of Israel go to the Red Sea and they're about to be accosted and destroyed by Pharaoh's army, they're literally about to be decimated, and they're crying out in fear. And Moses is moved by their fear, and he cries out with them to God. And God said, Moses, what's in your hand? In other words, use the staff that I gave you. There is always a divine instruction. When Jesus, when they came to collect the tribute and they didn't have the money to pay it, they came to Jesus, and Jesus told Peter, he says, I want you to go catch a fish, and when you open his mouth, you'll find a coin. That'll be enough to pay for me and for you. I hear what I'm saying. There was a very specific instruction. He told Peter, he says, cast the net on the right side. And when he cast it on the right side, that's where the deluge was. So the key to you unleashing the miracle that you've been praying for, the thing you've been believing God to do in your life, the door you've been asking God to open, is to obey his voice, to obey his divine instruction. I'm telling you, one time, I'll never get this. At the time I was, we didn't have the finances, but I just wanted to, my wife needed a van. We have children and young children, and we have several children. And so she needed a van. And I said, Lord, I don't know what to do. And God said, I want you to go down to this dealership. He told me specifically where to go. In fact, they sent me a mailer in the mail, and they said, come down to this dealership. The Lord said, I want you to go. I want you to go this day. As soon as I walk in the dealership, this is a true story. When I walk in the dealership, there was a tall man at the dealership, and he looked at me, and he begins to prophesy. He says, first of all, God's going to give you a church in South Tampa. It's going to be a multicultural church, and you're going to pastor all kinds of people. And he says, and then you're going to have books to go all over the world. And God's going to give you a media ministry. And he said, and God's going to give you this car that you want. And that day I drove off with a car and a word from the Lord. That is the power of obedience. Doing exactly what God tells you to do. Exactly what God tells you to do. I've been trying for years to get on a particular television network and to no avail. And one day God told me to do a specific video on my Facebook. It was that video that I did that made it to the producer of the show. And they then invited me to the network. You see, sometimes it's just that little thing, that little instruction. It may seem little, but that little instruction that you have to follow. Very specific. God is a God of specificity. Specificity. There it is. God's a God of specificity. He's a specific God. He's very detailed. If you look at the Ark of the Covenant, if you look at the tabernacle in the wilderness, if you look at it's very detailed. When Jesus told his disciples and he sent them to Jerusalem, he said, you're going to go to a certain place and there you're going to find a colt tied. Tell the owner the master has need of him. Jesus gave specific instructions. Don't go all these places. Wait here in Jerusalem until the promise. Then you'll go to the othermost parts of the earth. He was very specific. What is God saying to you? I know what you're praying to God, but what is God saying to you? I know what you're asking from God, but what is God speaking to you? I know what you're asking of God, but what is God asking of you? See, that's the key. I know what you're asking from God, but what is God asking from you? And have you done it? Have you obeyed the instruction? Or are you waiting for a more convenient time? One of the biggest things that hurts us is what I call delayed obedience. And that's because we try to process when we feel it's okay for us to do something. But that has nothing to do with obedience. Obedience means that you got to do what God says when God says it. You got to do what God says when God says. And one of the things I realize about God is faith is always in the now. Faith is never relegated to the future. It's always in the now. It's always now. What is God saying now? What is God expecting now? What is God instructing now? Some of you are sitting on your miracle. Some of you are sitting on your miracle because, listen to this, because you have not done that which you have been commissioned by your maker, your creator, to do. And you are delaying the manifestation of what God wants to release to you. See, nothing will break the levees of stagnation, the levee of delay, like radical obedience. When you say, God, you know what? I don't care anymore. I'm tired of waiting. I'm tired of being sick and tired and frustrated. And so, Lord, at this point, whatever you tell me to do is what I'm going to do. Years ago, I remember when I first started the ministry, I didn't want to go into ministry. I didn't want to be a pastor. I did not want to be a pastor. Contrary to popular belief, I never wanted popularity. I never wanted to be a pastor. I kind of wanted to write books, but not really. Most of the stuff I didn't want to do. And so I just got frustrated because my life was not moving in the right direction. I knew that I was outside of God's will. And God said to me, he says, son, it's time. And I said, Lord, what do you want from me? He said, I want you. And this is what the Lord led me to do. I go, at the time we were struggling financially, I go down the street of my subdivision and I lay on the ground and I said, Lord, I surrender to you. You can have your way. The next day I got a check in the mail. And it was able to take care of me. I did not know that the provision was in my obedience. I didn't know it. Your miracle is one instruction away. Your miracle is one instruction away. For some of you, it's somebody you need to forgive. It's an offense you need to let go of. It's a pain you need to release. It's a person you need to help. It's a seed you need to sow. It's a soul you need to win. What is he instructing you to do? And have you done it? And if you don't know the instruction, seek it out. The Bible says wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom, and in all thy getting, get understanding. Wisdom is the right application of knowledge. Wisdom means that I know how to execute what I know. I know how to execute what I know. That's wisdom. Now, if you don't know, then you need to talk to the knower or the one who knows. And the one who knows will confirm it in your knower. I know that sounds weird. Ask God. See, we need to spend more time talking to God to find out what he actually wants from us and what he's actually instructed us to do than we do, just making assumptions. Your obedience is the key to unleashing the deluge that you have desperately awaited. Please share this. And remember, Jesus is Lord.